I know a lot about raising my right hand and swearing that oath and defending the Constitution. I also know something about being a politician, having run for office, not successfully, but having done it. And I have a question for Mr. Jordan. You gave a dramatic speech. You hold an elected office now. How exactly is it that you are not an aspiring politician? Thank you.
I am a school board member at Bremen Public Schools, which is a non-political position in the sense of it's not Republican or Democrat, and I consider that part of a local community's obligation. I am not a politician is that I promise that I'm only running for 1, 2 terms, maybe 3, and that's it. Just like the Founding Fathers had envisioned, is that regular citizens would go out and serve 1, 2, 3 terms, come back and return to their natural life. So I have no aspirations of this political career track that goes from the House to the Senate, wherever it goes from there. So that's how I consider myself a non-politician. Thank you.
Next question.
My question is for all of you guys. You guys, what needs to happen not people more on Medicaid is Medicaid is such a fraud. I never talked to you about this. I'm on Medicaid and Medicare insurance, and I don't realize doctors have jacked me around until I take a friend to the doctor with me, and it's bull crap. I don't want to be jacked around, and they do it on purpose, and they jack my insurance around, and it runs up the bill. And how can you guys prevent that from happening to someone else?
It's a good question, and it goes back to this monstrosity of a bill that was just passed that is going to open up Medicaid in our state by 30%. It's $2.5 billion for an additional window of Medicaid in our state. And as the state budget is right now in the state of Indiana, we have flatlined this budget in this state for the past 5 and 6 years, but when you look at our budget in this state, Medicaid right now is the spike that goes up and never comes down because it's a federal entitlement program, and you have to pay through the state of Indiana. And what she's referring to, the fraud and the things that have gone on in Medicaid, and for as much as we try to root it out at the state level, there's a massive amount of fraud because it's run by bureaucrats, and I can tell you this, there is not a week that goes by in the state of Indiana when a legislator is not called up, a representative, by somebody who's fallen through the crack of the Medicaid system because a T wasn't crossed and an I wasn't dotted and somebody's life is in danger and they got thrown out the computer program. And that's one of the reasons why I brought petitions with me tonight, folks. When you leave here tonight, take a petition to repeal and redo the health care plan and shut down what they've just done in this state. Urge the Attorney General and the Governor to repeal and to redo this health care plan because we are being sold a bill of goods that our state cannot afford. Take it when you leave, fill it out, go online to standwithjackie.com, sign this. We are hoping for tens of thousands of signatures. This is a call to action on this plan. What she's talking about is one portion of a horrible plan that's going to bankrupt the state of Indiana. You can do something about it tonight. Join with me, stand with me, and let's repeal it.
As we think about Medicaid, my wife worked in a Medicaid practice in Camden, New Jersey for a year, and the unfortunate thing is there are people that need Medicaid because they're at a needy point in their lives. The things that she discovered, and that many have discovered, is the waste, fraud, and abuse that's not in your case, that is an embarrassment. And as Jackie alluded to, we've now passed another government bureaucracy that will result in significant more waste, fraud, and abuse. So Medicaid is really there for people that really need it, but as we found out through real-world experience, is that there are a lot of people who, frankly, don't need it, don't deserve it, and we're paying their health care bills when, frankly, they should go out and get a job and get insurance.
Hi, my name is Eric Hudson, and I just want to say I'm not here to vote for a Democrat or vote for a Republican. I'm here to vote for somebody that's going to represent me. And I'm tired of people like Joe Donnelly that just say, yes, 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 I'm going to do what you say, and then not. So here's my question, and it's to Jackie. I understand that you've been in the state legislature, and you've been there for a while, but my question to you is just because you're part of the Republican Party, I'm going to give you an example. The time bill, when it first came up, you had the ability to kill that, and you didn't. Could you tell me why? And a follow-up question to that is, excuse me. I just want to make sure I get what I wanted to say here. You had wanted to recall the toll road, but publicly you were for it and against it. I want to know where you really stand on both those issues today. Can you answer that for me, please?
Absolutely, a great question. The toll road, the Major Moves bill, is a bill that leads the Indiana Toll Road, public-private partnership. One of the reasons today that we're one of the most solvent, strong economies in the country is because we have billions of dollars that came in from the outside. The ownership of the toll road, the concrete, the road itself belongs to the state of Indiana. The outside money that came in created thousands of jobs, is still creating jobs today, and there's still next generation trust funds spinning off revenue. And I'll tell you this, in the last 5 years in the state of Indiana, we have brought in and we have learned to leverage private money in our state, not public money. So we brought in nearly $7 billion, of which Major Moves is part of that has created with private money over 100,000 jobs in the state. The reason why Michigan is tanking and California is tanking is because they didn't get in on the out-of-the-box creative kind of thinking like we did. And there is nobody right now in this country that wouldn't look at the state of Indiana with envy. Because while Jennifer Granholm is grinding up roads and sending them back to dirt, we are building bridges in this state, we are building roads in this state, we're building a US 31, we're building connectors around here. We just brought companies into Elkhart County that said the reason they came into Elkhart County and didn't go elsewhere is because we're building a connector called the US 31 corridor between Elkhart County, where they're going to build electric cars, and Indianapolis, where the batteries are built with Interdel battery, and they wanted that connector because it saves them so much time and money to get from point A to point B, and that's why we did that. It was a job creator. I can tell you this, with the operating engineers 151 that sat down there in Lakeville, that bill by itself ensured that all of those workers are not only retired from Operating Engineers 151, but their children that work there will also retire because it's a 25-year building plan with projects and roads and money and massive amount of employment. That's a huge deal in the state of Indiana. Do I regret that? No. I would support it again because it brought jobs, it brought outside investment along with the other $5 billion that came in with it. And we still own and retain the actual ownership of the road. The time zone issue, you can check my voting records, guys. And I know, people can run commercials and say what they want. We're not going to be able to stop. I can't stop folks from running commercials today and saying things that aren't true. And I realize that when George Soros comes into this district like they did when Chris Chicolo was here and flashes up all kinds of lies on the screen, they can do what they want because libel and slander doesn't apply to the political race. You can check my voting record. That bill came down on the House floor probably 5 times. I voted no every time. I filed a repealer the next year after Pat Bauer said he'd repeal it, and he killed the repealer bill because it was such a political nest. So you can check the record. I was there, I voted, I even led the charge in my caucus, and I even bring it down. But people can say what they want, but the facts are there, and you can check my voting record. But it's a great question, and I appreciate it.